I don't know what that is. If I click on it, video status change from preview to live. Okay. Where do oh, invite friends. All right, I'm gonna invite some people here. Man, it seems like I have really not been on here for a long time. I I apologize, everybody. I've just been traveling, busy, working on other projects, all the things. So I have a really interesting topic that I want to share with you tonight. So I hope that you're ready to connect and yeah, initiate. So I'm inviting everybody to this list here. Hope everybody's doing good. I want to talk a little bit about collective consciousness. Hey, Kumi, Mikey, Deborah. Hello, hello, hello. So very unique topic that I'd like to share. Basically, this topic is going to get us into some areas that are very metaphysical, that are very spiritual in a certain sense, that are really about a paradigm of utilizing of sound, collective consciousness, and drumming that I feel we can remember together, right? Sherry, Clemente, good to see you all here. And this is a remembering, about our process. Now, I can also share with you that maybe this type of technology and this way of looking at these technologies of access to the infinite intelligence really have not been languaged in this way, that maybe we're the pioneers of languaging this stuff. But I also feel like there's something inside of us that knows what I'm going to share with you as valid, or maybe a certain level of experiential truth, right? I mean, that's why I feel so many of us have a relationship with that which is outside of ourselves, whether it be something that you call God or Jesus or Buddha, or, whatever it may be, Great Spirit, or the air, the water, the fire, the earth. Like, in some way, there is a need for relationship with something that's a little bit greater than our own consciousness. So I'm going to use some language of the infinite intelligence here so that I can describe this in a way that I hope fits with everyone. And my beloved Monica, she's brought this language into our life, I believe from one of her mentors, but I feel it fits really well with this conversation. So if you'd like, share this with people that share it with any groups that you have. I'm going to start with this kind of conceptualization and process that I use inside of the hospitals, inside of the communities that me and Monica work in on a daily basis, to help, I feel, take the density of human suffering, the processing of human suffering, and transform that energy into something that serves a greater potentiality of optimal service to the community. So we work every day in anywhere from 1 to 5 communities. That's psychiatric lockdowns, memory cares. Gosh, we work in skilled nursing communities, in assisted living, in schools, in prisons. I mean, all kinds of different places we work. And I'm actually going to put on here, for those of you that are interested, there is a discount of our upcoming training in March. So that is a discount that we're offering through our partnership with Karma Collective. So you can access that through that link. I'm going to pin the comment here so you know where it's at. If you're interested in taking your exploration of sound to more of a refined practice, we have some we can share with you. But today we're going to get into visualization, flow, empathy, sacred geometry as a vehicle. Now, this is something that maybe many of you have not really dove into because you don't really know how to access those tools of sacred geometry. And I'm going to share with you a story about sacred geometry that I feel is very important to this conversation that I had that kind of blew my mind away. You know, this idea of the utilization of sacred geometry as a vehicle for transforming uh, collective consciousness and also stepping into the infinite intelligence. So we're going to begin this process by looking at visualization and flow, right? This is something that I feel is very important when we're working within the structure of a circle. You know, the structure of a circle gives us an opportunity as a facilitator and a light worker, if you will, or an energetic, I like to say manipulator, because manipulation is something that a chiropractor does, right? To really manipulate the body back into its optimal state. So when we look at like how we can begin to visualize this process, utilization of the circle is very important because you have a touch point within the circle to the participants that are sitting in circle. You have a touch point in the center of that circle. You can create an actual orb of light. You can create a vehicle to connect either the heart of the individuals or potentially the third eye. There's a number of ways that you can connect those individuals to that collective intentional space that you're holding. So I operate in multiple different dimensions when I'm facilitating sacred space, when I am creating a circular space of energetic flow. When I'm in that dynamic, I'm talking to the individuals that are in the container, right? And when I say container, I'm not meaning like a mayonnaise jar or Tupperware. I'm talking about the actual circle that we're sitting in, right? So when we're in that contained energy, when we're in that agreement, you see, the place of agreement is the place of power. So when we create an agreement by sitting circle together, right? There's already that sort of energy. There's already this opportunity to create something with that flow. Now, where are you as the facilitator going to take that? You know, what I'm talking about is creating in your mind an access point for the heart chakra, for the third eye, for these individuals that are sitting in your facilitated experience to really begin to connect on an energetic level. So I'm fostering this relationship with the energy of the collective consciousness by visualizing it inside of the container. So I'm picturing in my mind an orb of light. This orb of light is connected to me first of all, and then connected to all of the individuals. So I'm imagining that this orb of light is now spreading like kind of like the tentacles of a spider, if you will, or the tentacles of an octopus, or maybe a stream of energy coming from the heart chakras or the third eye of these individuals to the center of the collective experience. So in doing that, what I'm utilizing is this idea of visualization and flow. I'm flowing consciousness into this circle, this orb of light, and in that consciousness is now being transmuted or let me see, how can I what kind of terminology can I use? It is communicating to the individuals on an energetic level. So I'm opening my heart up and I'm speaking words and language to the group, but I'm also energetically holding the place of love and gratitude. I'm holding this energy of love and gratitude, and I'm imagining it as a purple light or a pink light or a golden light, depending on basically how it manifests to me. So as we begin to work with this orb of light in the center of the collective experience, it will actually begin to transform to let you know what's going on within the group consciousness, how the group consciousness is feeling, how the group consciousness is interacting. So this multiple different dimensional plane of reality is how I'm holding space inside of the container of the participants in the sacred circle. So the sacred circle is created. We've done to fortify the metaphysical architecture, the collective agreement of that space. Maybe we've used our words, maybe we've thrown out judgment, maybe we have defined the space in a deeper sense. So I want to share. Okay, so here is something here. Marco is coming through, and I just want to take a second here. I'm on the number one topic, which is visualization and flow. And Marco says, "You look great, brother. It's nice to see you doing your thing, watching from the land of the rainforest, sacred grounds of the Amazon jungles of Peru. Mini Wachoni. Hey, brother, good to see you, Marco. You know, blessings to you on your journeys." And yes, Monica is reminding us all, please share. Karma is on here. Karma is our sponsor, and that's how we're able to give you the discount here of the training if you'd like. But thank you, Karma, for joining in. Please share this across. We're still on the first concept. So we're talking about visualization and flow, how we're creating an orb of light in order to create this space in which we can begin to connect the individuals to this orb. So I'm operating in the dimension, of course, the vibrational frequency of sound, my physical presence in the circle, and then I'm also working with visualization. So visualization is another energetic dimension that you can operate as a facilitator of sacred space. When you begin to visualize a tool inside of the container of the collective consciousness, that is now existing in a realm of existence that is not subjected, right, to age. It's not subjected to the parameters of this existence. It's not dissolving because of the sunlight. It's not dissolving because of the wind. It's actually more real than everything around you, because everything around you is subjected to change, right? So visualization and flow creates a more powerful tool of collective consciousness in accessing the infinite intelligence, because it does exist in a space in which the infinite intelligence is inhabited. Okay, this is the frequency, the dimensional frequency of vision. This is the dimensional frequency in which we begin to access what I would say are spiritual gifts. So I'm talking about collective consciousness, those of you that are just coming in, and some of the access points that we use inside of the hospitals that we go into. So visualization and flow. I'm creating an orb of light. I'm connecting it to the heart chakra, to the crown, to the third eye. I'm utilizing that space of visualization in order to enhance the experience and convey messaging through my heart, through my third eye, through my energy. That is the tool of connection. Now I'm going to get into some more tangibles, okay, for those of you that are out there that work within the energetic manifestation and displacement through the tool of empathy. Okay, empathy is a very powerful vehicle, and I want to share with you how in collective consciousness and how in the access point of infinite intelligence you can begin to utilize empathy as a tool to really connect you to the potential within the density of human suffering that may be inside of the individuals in your facilitated sacred space. Now, I'm also going to share with you that empathy can give you an access point into those frequencies of dense human joy, right? So one of the things that I found in emotions is that we will compact emotions and we will create fortitude. We will create the fortification of energy inside of our bodies. And in turn, the way that we are able to access those energies, the way that we're able to feel those energies flow through us, is by creating empathy. This is this either linguistic or artistic expression. It is a doorway into the access of emotion, energy and motion, right? So dense human energy creates an opportunity for us as a facilitator to then access that density and create flow. Now, what happens to dense energy? Dense energy wants to flow into another container. Now, when you have an agreement within the collective consciousness, you can utilize empathy as a tool to give you the fuel for the fire, right? This is the lighter fluid that will give you the ability to really create connection on a deeper level, a level of emotional connection, a level that allows you to feel what's going on in the consciousness. And I'm talking about goosebumps, I'm talking about that feeling, even tears. I'm talking about these physical manifestations of what happens when we access empathy. Empathy is probably one of the greatest tools that you can actually utilize as a facilitator of sacred space. When you access your own empathy, you are creating a dialogue of exchange that is beyond the language and is into the revelatory, the revelation of those emotions. Now, how do I access the density of human suffering in order to create love and gratitude? Because this is kind of the flow in the linear. I want to go into a hospital that everyone in there has created an agreement that the residents are sick, right? I'm talking about the caregivers, I'm talking about the activity staff, the administrators. I am up against an energetic barrier, right, that says even sometimes that those individuals that are holding space as employees of the institution, those individuals sometimes will be holding space in their mind that an individual is beyond having a human experience. I'll take you to an example. So me and Monica are at the drum circle. We're setting down the drums. The nurse literally comes over and says, "Oh, she's not going to play." And she removes the drum. So this is the kind of wall or barrier that we're faced with when we're in an institution. That the caregivers, that the nurses, that the activity staff, that the people who are supposed to be holding space for the optimal state of human design have given up on an individual. And in their minds, this person cannot have a human experience because of the behaviors of yesterday. Okay, when I step into that space and I'm looking at that, there is an opportunity there. There's an opportunity for me to educate the individual that the behaviors of yesterday, we do not hold against the person today. And what we do is we set the drum down in front of them. Now, when that person is there, they may be conscious on a level that we're not aware of, right? We may be visually looking at a person that's called, nonverbal is what a lot of these use. But I want to tell you something, I'm nonverbal sometimes, right? You're nonverbal sometimes. Sometimes in our lives, we're angry, we're frustrated, we're confused, we're in a place where we are not able to access language. And for individuals that are in memory care or in behavioral institutions, that are in psych, that are in all these different places that me and Monica go to, right? We need to give them permission to have a good day, to actually participate in community and drum. And that energy is something that me and Monica have actually practice holding, because when they step into the sacred space of our circle, now, right, we are in the agreement that that individual is going to have an optimal experience. I don't know how many times this has happened that person will put the drum over there and then they'll start playing. Monica likes to say 100% of it the time. I put it out there as 99% because it is amazing to see when the institutional caregivers, when the nurses have given up on someone, and then we're able to come in as drum circle facilitators and create language and create opportunity and create love and gratitude. So when I'm connecting myself to the empathy of the group, I will go in there and I will actually say to the group, I will utilize my own human emotions, right? I will make myself vulnerable. And this is one of the things that I feel is really important about peer-based support. So if you're going into an environment where you're creating a sacred space, if you are a part of that circle as a peer to the collective consciousness, you're not the therapist, you're not the healer, What you are is you are a peer inside of a container of collective consciousness that's accessing the infinite intelligence. So if there is a leader, it is the infinite intelligence, the collective experience. And I am just a part of that. You know, I'm a part of that experience. I'm a part of one of the elements within that container. So as I begin to create that, right, I'm accessing the density of human suffering inside of the hearts of the people. I'm utilizing my own loneliness, my own depression. I'm talking to that, speaking, because once I begin to access those frequencies of emotion, it then becomes a relational vehicle. And now I'm relating to the individuals in a way that gives me access to that density, because the density holds potential. I may even say to the group, I experience a level of loneliness that doesn't go away with being around people. I can be in a church house filled with people, but when I begin to do something, when I begin to play my drum, that loneliness goes away. This is me utilizing my own languaging around the emotional state of my own self. I'm in peer support now. I'm a peer of this experience, whether it be a ceremony of, drinking cacao or being a part of a sweat or any of those things. I'm a peer that is connected to the collective. And inside of the collective, it's the collective consciousness that is really where the medicine is, that access point. So I've seen this happen. I've seen it happen in ceremony from indigenous people where they'll speak to the group and they'll access some of the density of suffering by reminding them of what they've been through, the pain that has gone on. And when that happens, right, everybody begins to feel the chills, because now we're going into a level of emotion that really has potential for transformation. And that's a really important key here, is when you access that density of human suffering, where are you going to take it? That's important, because if we can take it to a place where we've utilized that density of human suffering, we now have fortified the optimal state of human design within that collective experience. So empathy, right? I can go on and on and on about empathy, but I want to get into sacred geometry as a vehicle for transformation. And I'm going to talk about the Merkaba. Okay, the Merkaba is the three-dimensional form of the Star of David. So I've seen this manifest itself inside of a collective experience, inside of a sacred circle, and I've seen it actually bring transformation. I'll share with you how it first came to me. So I'm in a drum circle and I'm drumming and I'm sharing the space. Everything's great. And so what happens? Like, this Merkaba shows up, and it's in the middle of the circle, and I'm looking at it like in the interdimensional, and I'm seeing like this Merkaba, and the bottom starts to spin and the top starts to spin, and it's doing the clockwise and counterclockwise thing, the feminine and the masculine, the duality has manifested itself. And then, right, I start to communicate with this thing. I start to communicate with this form of sacred geometry, and I start to ask it questions. What can you do? And it begins to, like, not so much speak to me in language, but it gives me these motivational kind of, it's not speaking in human language, let me put it that way. It's speaking to me on a conscious level. And I ask it if it can help heal. And this form of sacred geometry begins to move in and out of the people. And it starts to pull out, like, the toxicity of human emotions. It begins to pull out these emotions that are no longer serving. And it begins to spin around and utilize this density of human suffering in order to create beauty. And I literally asked this thing, I said, well, what else can you do? Can you help create sustainable infrastructure in our city? And it literally takes off. And it goes, and I begin to see it creating in the unseen parts of reality. And this is something that's important for us to understand. As we begin to step into the infinite intelligence and we begin to create relationship with the great eternal I am, you can guarantee that this this energy of life, right? This personification of infinite intelligence will begin to formulate itself in ways that you may not be ready to have an experience with that. You know, sometimes in life, right, we may step into a relationship with the infinite intelligence and it may show up as a bird. You know, it may show up as a feather falling from the sky. It may show up as a lizard, a snake, you know, a tree. Like all of these things that we are having a tangible relationship with, they can also be a metaphorical or metaphysical tool for us to access infinite intelligence. And sacred geometry is definitely a tool inside of your tool belt as a facilitator of sacred space in order to understand how to create and how to access the infinite intelligence within this life and the collective consciousness. So, Heather, hey, Bingy True Fire. What's up, brother? Good to see you here. So, now I'm going to step into this final space in which we begin to access collective intentions. And collective intentions are important and they can be fortified through rhythm, through dance, through song. And when we step into that place of utilization of these ancient technologies of drumming, singing, and dancing together to fortify the space of collective intention, we now have created a tool in which the density of that collective consciousness is now being fortified. So, what is the collective intentions inside of the drum circle me and Monica facilitate? It's very simple. It's love and gratitude, right? How do we create that intention of stepping into love and gratitude? Well, when we say to a person, love yourself, right, that can be really confusing. And it can also feel like it's a pressure, right? I know in my life, you know, as an adult and even as a younger person, when people would tell me to love myself, I'd be like, well, what does that mean? You know, what does it mean to love yourself? And I speak to this inside of, you know, the circles that we facilitate because we do bring people to a rhythmic mantra of love and gratitude, right? What we're doing is we're accessing that mantra, we're fortifying that intention through rhythm, through movement, through collective experience, and through that space in which we really begin to fortify it. We begin to really create that collective intention. So in love and gratitude, right, we don't want to just be talking love and gratitude. We want to be feeling love and gratitude because that's actually the definition of love and gratitude. You know, words are like the doorknob that you turn to access, right, the room in which vibrational frequency is being manifested. So in my life, right, how do I manifest love and gratitude? Gratitude. It's simply through spiritual reality. Now, I don't really know if there's someone else out there that's defined relational spirituality in a different way. But, you know, I grew up, you know, while as an adult, I didn't really grow up in the church, but, you know, I spent many years in the church. And the church, you know, the pastor is always talking about have a relationship with God. So this is something that I really feel is important for us to understand how relational spirituality can help us access the vibrational programs that can bring us to that place of collective intention. So when you are in relationship, you can feel those relationships, and those relationships will help you hone the manifestation of the energies that you're trying to create in the optimal state of human design for that collective intention. So I do this. I say to the group, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to relationship that brings you to a place of love and gratitude. Maybe it's a mom, a dad, a grandma, a grandpa, a family member, a friend. Maybe it's a pet, a puppy, a kitten, a bunny. Now I want you to feel that feeling of love and gratitude. Feel it in your belly first. And now allow that energy of love and gratitude to go to the bottom of your feet, to the top of your head. And I say to them this as well, because a lot of people don't realize that it's challenging for those that are in trauma to close their eyes. You know, so I say to them, You know, if you can close your eyes for 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, just give yourself permission to be in that place of the peace that surpasses all understanding. You deserve to have that. You deserve to give that to you. You're the only one that can give you that place. So as we begin to go through the layers, right, of fear, of trauma by speaking to them, we then are in that place of relational spirituality in which we begin to manifest the vibrational program of love and gratitude. The collective intention. What we've done is we've given them an opportunity to opt into that intention by reaching up and grabbing love, reaching up and grabbing gratitude, pulling that love and gratitude down into their hearts. Then we do the guided imagery meditation, closing the manifesting the energy of love and gratitude. Then we take it right to the love and gratitude rhythm. You know, so love and gratitude, love and gratitude. So what we've done is we've done the tools of not only creating the energy of love and gratitude on a cellular level, on a biological level, right? Those chemicals, those neural pathways are now firing. Now we're accessing it into the mantra. And the mantra of love and gratitude, this is the rhythmic meditation that our collective ancestry has used through song, through the drum, through dance, in order to create that density of energy. Again, remember, I'm talking about the density of energy, the fortification of the density of energy within the collective experience, because what does that do? That creates a gravity. Bam! That's something that I haven't touched on yet. That emotions create gravity within the fabric of reality. So if I'm holding a blanket, and all of you here on this awesome, you know, live feed, if you're holding that blanket and we drop a 40-pound weight into the middle of the blanket, and then all of us, you know, let go of marbles, right? We all have marbles in our mouths, or let's use golf balls, okay? Everybody's got a golf ball in their mouth. You spit out that golf ball, and we're holding that fabric, and we have a in the middle of the fabric. Where does the golf ball go? It goes to the weight, right? So this is how collective energy can create density, fortified density within the fabric of reality. So as we begin to pull in that collective consciousness, that rhythmic mantra, that vibrational program of love and gratitude, now it begins to pull in its likeness. And it also begins to pull in any energies that are no longer serving that and transforming them. So this is where visualization, flow, empathy, sacred geometry, it all comes into focus. So now within the center of the circle, I have the access point of the orb of light. I'm connecting it to the heart chakra, to the third eye, to the individuals that are present and participating. And now, right, I am accessing the grid of collective consciousness on a planetary and an interplanetary, intergalactic, interdimensional level. And I'm at loving world in order to create abundance in the lives of the participants. All right. So I hope you guys got that. Thank you so much. Okay, there is a confirmation here. Okay, when I drum, I'm not only bringing a higher vibration, but also sending healing vibrations that the person you are thinking of, that's right, will be able to feel it. And the more you do it, the more you hear from them telling you that they felt you. And that's confirmation. Yes, it is confirmation. Yeah, I want to share with you, right? This is something, if you're open to me sharing with you, Marco, I'd like to give you a little bit of something there. Maybe something you can use, maybe something you can't, but send me some hearts and some thumbs up, and I'll go ahead and share a little bit of a teaching that I have learned about the usage of some terminologies that I feel can bring you into a place of more sovereignty in your practice of utilizing the drum in a shamanic or in a healing practice. So there's just some kind of tweaks that you can do there in the languaging. All right, I think that's you. So so when we speak in terms of higher vibration, right, what we're doing is we're putting energy into a linear conceptualization that energy doesn't understand, right? This is something that you're doing in your own life because that's how you understand energy. I would love for you to really begin to language energy in this way. and that is density and flow, right? This is the process that I've understood in facilitating literally thousands of drum experiences and learning from the intelligence. See, when we begin to conceptualize energy as density, right, we begin to really understand how it presents itself. So if we look at dense energy, we can always see that there is a potential for an energy that serves the greater collective consciousness, like serves the process of whatever you're trying to accomplish in your facilitation of sacred space. Now, there can be multiple different types of experiences in there. You may be wanting to send protection to a person, you want love to a person. You may be wanting to send finances, abundance, prosperity, all of these different vibrational programs you can access and fortify if you can understand the reality of how energy exists in two forms, density and flow. So we tend to look at our emotions in this way as well. Like, oh, I'm vibrating on a high level, right? I'm in a conscious level, I'm in a psychic level, right? And this is something for us to look at, right? Are we really in access to these conscious places because of the linear conceptualization of energy? Or is it because we have taken the density of our own human suffering and we have began to ride the wave of that into flow? Now, this is something that really is challenging for a lot of people to understand because it's not the language of this reality. This reality is based on linear, right? It's like, okay, this is lower, this is higher, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's great for measurement. But what I'm talking about is when you begin to free yourself from this idea of lower frequency, higher frequency, you'll find more of a sovereignty in your life. Now, I just give you that, Marco, because I care about you, first of all. And secondly, these teachings are something to sit with, okay? These are things that you're going to sit with for a while. You're going to pray. You're going to think about it. You're going to ask, the universe for guidance. And really, don't take just my word for it, right? You begin to shift the language and see how it feels in your body, because your body is going to give you the truth, right? Your body is going to give you the knowing. Because if we begin to utilize terminologies like higher frequency, lower frequency, good energy, bad energy, what we're doing is we're captivating ourselves to emotions, right? And the captivation of that emotion can lead you to a place in which you are not in the optimal state of your facilitation. Instead, you're now captive to that energy. I hope that makes sense, especially for those of you that are really, you're really utilizing these tools of vibrational programming, frequency manipulation, and when, again, that's something that people get hung up on. When I say they think, oh, he's out there manipulating people or something like that. But really, look at how a chiropractor manipulates the body, right? A chiropractor manipulates the body in order to bring the density of suffering back into flow, right? So this is something that we can utilize. We're allowed to utilize the terminology of manipulation when it comes to energy and how we're helping people that are suffering in hospitals. Because, in the work that me and Monica do, I'm not out there, trying to be at every conference, and talk to every single person out there in the world about these things, because it's personal for us. Today we were in a psychiatric and skilled nursing facility place. The people are not leaving. These are that are in these places pretty much for life. And oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, gosh darn it. My battery is dying here. I'm probably going to have to get off, or else I'm going to have to plug it in. So let me try to plug this thing in here, see if we can stay on. How long have I been on? Oh, 38 minutes. I'm getting to the end of my time, but I do want to make myself available to answer any questions that you may have. And I do understand that, Marco. Believe me, brother, I understand that I'm highly emotional, intelligent, and it killed me. It killed you, Milan. Yeah, I understand, Milan. I know you're still in that place, brother. I've held you in my prayers. I'm believing for transformation in your life. Um, yeah, and I understand. Yeah, that's the thing is that Marco, we are really in a new understanding of how to utilize our language to best serve us, and it is a practice. I'm in that space too. I'm practicing these things. I just added that to the conversation because, like I said, first of all, I care about you, and I hope it does help you. I'm not on here trying to do anything other than spread this, transformational teachings and really help people understand that they can, right, make the world a little bit better. Enze, hey, what's up, brother? How do you universal closing for a circle? What are a few good farewells from around the world? I would love how you do entry. The invocation to us is amazing. Oh, nice. Yeah, you've actually sit in some of my circles before, so you see that. At the closing of the circle, what we're doing is we're really taking things back into the body. We're taking the energy now that we have sent. What I like to say is I like to say this: you played your drum with love and gratitude in your heart, and now it's time for you to receive. And this is a time for us to meditate together, to utilize the sound of the flute, to pray with the sound of the flute, and to really begin to sit in this space together and receive. So now Monica is going to play the gong, the chimes. I usually say this. I usually say the beautiful, lovely, and extremely intelligent Monica is going to play the gong, the chimes, and the Tibetan singing bowl, and I'm going to play the Native American flute. And I want you to use this energy to help yourself. And I've been able, and I'm very extremely privileged to be able to work with 6 different nations, Native American nations, facilitating wellness programs. And one of the places that we go to is out in Gila River, the Gila River Indian community, and we work with the elders in a hospital setting called Caring House. And this is what I've learned from these elders is they'll put out their hands when I'm playing the flute, and they'll touch their head with the energy of the flute, and they'll touch their hearts with the energy of the flute. And this for me is an understanding of energy and sound that our contemporary culture really has no idea of. Like we think of the medicine of music in a way that we're not really understanding and washing ourselves off with music. Thank you, Nels. Good to see you, brother. It was so great hanging out with you, man. And that's kind of how we close. So I hope that makes sense to you. We close with sound healing. We bring it back to the body. We step into that place. And in doing that, we're really tying it all in together. And that's something that we've practiced, for years now with the sound healing. I mean, me and Monica have been doing this sound experience in hospitals together for, I think that we really refined it. We use the Native American flute for the earth, the gong for the fire, the chimes for the wind, and the bowl for the water. And we hold space for those 4 elementals inside of the container. And it has just been, so profound what we experience in those circles. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation that we had here. Access to the infinite intelligence through sound. 4 ways I have found the keys to consciousness. So yeah, review it, check it out. It's a 45-minute teaching here. We did take some comments and questions from the live audience. So if you're into these things, if you're utilizing sound, if you're doing drum circles, if you're working with institutional populations, if you feel the density of empathy in your life and you're just like, what do I do with that? Check out the total, share here, and I'm sure you're going to get something from it. So I just like to end in the way of beauty: beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind, beauty within. We are made beautiful again. Okay. Last really quickly here, where in the States are you? We're in Arizona, brother. We're here in Phoenix. Andy, hey, just getting done here. Check out I'm gonna post it though. Love you guys. Beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind, beauty within. We are made beautiful again. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you for joining.